S. Aquino III.
Maupo tayo lahat. Magandang hapon po. Mukha ho talagang napakamasigasig na inyong pagpupulong itong araw na to. Congratulations. Sa bagay ho, marami na ako iniisip itong araw na to, kaya okay lang dagdagan nyo ng ilan ba yun? 18. May problema ho sa Japan. Alam natin lahat yan. Sa Middle East, hindi pa naman humuhupa. Medyo may lumalahong sitwasyon doon. Medyo mas malaki yung komunidad natin na inaasikaso sa kasalukuyan sa isa pong bansa doon. Pero diretso na ho tayo muna. No? Siyempre, batiin natin muna, Secretary Paderanga, ating pong kagalang-galang nakalihim na local government, Jesse Robredo, ating Secretary ng DNR, Bon Pahe, si ating Vice Chairman ng Climate Change Commission, Secretary Marian Lucing Sering, ang nakakatanda po sa aking Governor na Albay, Joey Salceda, Secretary Ramon Carandang, nakakatanda ho, mga ilang buwan lang ho yata, kaklase ko po si Joey. Mr. Reynold Mayor of the United Nations Development Program, Mr. Vicente Celos Saragosi, dito magkakasubukan ang ating natutunan ng araw. Agencia Española de Cooperación Internacional para el Desarrollo. Ating po kagalang-galang na President ng League of Municipalities of the Philippines, Mayor Strike Revilla, Inday Sara Duterte, our host in Davao City, our Presidential Advisor on Climate Change, Elisea Gosun, our MINDA Chair, Luwalhati Antonino, officers and members of the League of Municipalities of the Philippines, our partners from the academe and environmental groups, fellow workers in government, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen. By now, after countless studies, there should no longer be any doubt that climate change is one of the most serious global challenges of the 21st century. Our country is extremely vulnerable to the effects of climate change. Excessive heat in the Earth's atmosphere distorts weather patterns, causing the severe droughts we associate with El Nino and excessive rains we associate with La Nina. During months when these disturbances are least expected, especially in our farmlands. And because of the denudation of our watersheds and unrestricted urban development, our communities are at risk from typhoons and rains, as our experience with Dondoy and Pepeng showed us. While it is true that the Philippines' carbon footprint would be considered insignificant compared to that of developed nations, our reefs, forest covers, marine life, and vast natural wonders will eventually all be destroyed if we stand idly by and do nothing. Sure, rich countries consume far more energy than us and are largely responsible for the accelerated levels of pollution in our environment. But at this critical point in time, there is no use pinning the blame on others. We Filipinos are stakeholders too. We have a responsibility to hold further damage to our part of the planet, and we must act now. In light of this, the Department of Environment and Natural Resources formulated a 12-year plan called the Philippine Strategy on Climate Change Adaptation. To reinforce this, the Climate Change Commission has ironed out a few gaps in the initial strategy and has released the National Framework Strategy on Climate Change. Likewise, in order to address immediate concerns that have arisen due to climate change, the Commission is putting together the National Climate Change Action Plan, which responds to issues that arise in vulnerable sectors such as agriculture, water resources, ecosystems, and infrastructure services. In short, we have the plans and strategies to adapt to climate change, but we have to remember that the real challenge still awaits us. The fact that these plans still have to be implemented through consolidated efforts by our local government units. These plans should materialize into actual projects felt by our people. This means that each person here is important in preparing our country for the challenges we will face in the coming years. This responsibility rests on all of our shoulders, and rest assured that as you go about the strategies that have been and will be discussed today, the national government will do its part. We have taken not just a straighter path, we have taken a greener path as well. We have tapped into the creativity of Filipinos by using coco coir to prevent landslides and to find more financially and environmentally sustainable solutions to our problems. This will give us reliable material in building quality infrastructure, while at the same time giving us a more cost-efficient alternative to other materials. And if you remember my sauna, part of our administration's initiative is to protect our watersheds, first by physically protecting them and by using our resources to plant more trees. Moreover, we have also issued an executive order to restrict commercial logging in the Philippines in order to regain and preserve the forest cover we have drastically lost in the past years. I've ordered a review of our disaster response mechanisms specifically for earthquakes and tsunamis. I'm also studying programs that will give incentives to people who will relocate to higher ground in lieu of places in danger of flooding due to rising seawater levels. Furthermore, we are studying the design and implementation of infrastructure and non-infrastructure programs such as beach and mangrove reforestation in order to physically protect coastal areas from natural disasters such as tsunamis. There are other initiatives that we will unveil in the coming days that will not help only our environment, but also improve the livelihoods of our fellow citizens. News about efforts to protect the environment does not usually occupy headline space. Likewise, it does not always win me political points to push for programs whose benefits will be manifested only after I am long gone from office. However, I do this not to score points, but because it is the right thing to do. This is what our generation and future generations of Filipinos need to survive. I can only hope that these opportunities to save our planet will not be squandered by our people and by those who will come after us. And before I end, may I just respond to some of the points raised by your Honorable President. Doon po sa ating logging ban, ang results were from July 2010, even before he imposed it, to March 15, 2011, and I must commend the good Secretary of the Department of Environment and Natural Resources. We have confiscated a total of 5,267,033 board feet. We have seized, in addition, a total of 1,666,978 board feet, for a total of 6,934,011 board feet. There have been at least 34 wood processing plants who do not have an assured supply of lumber closed. We have seized 29 vehicles, 10-wheeler trucks, 6-wheeler trucks, passenger jeepneys, motorcycles. I am told that this can be turned over to the appropriate LGUs, various other government instrumentalities who are helping us in our fight against all of these illegal loggings. There have been numerous people in various offices already charged and relieved. Good. And in Region 11, I am made to understand another 73 wood processing plants have been closed. That's the good news. The bad news is there are 20,000 people we are looking for new jobs to occupy. And that directly leads me to the total mining ban. Okay. Doon po sa mining ban, ganda ho pakinggan, no? Siguraduhin na natin wala tayong risk, wala na magmamine. Pero I am told also na pag meron naman talaga resources doon, mawawala yung large-scale miner, papalitan na small-scale miner na lalong mahirap i-regulate, i-control at bantayan. So parang ginagaranti raw po natin, pag sinarado natin lahat ng malalaking minahan, papasukan ng maliliit na talaga hindi naman ito susundin alat yung tunin ng batas, baka mas malaki ho problema. Sa Romblon, pinigil na nila lahat ng mining, ang taas na po ng mercury levels everywhere. And I am told that is primarily due to small-scale mining efforts. No? So I assume there is a convenient and good compromise between a total ban and a heavily regulated mining activities. So to that end, perhaps that should be the first response. National land use policy. I am committed that we will execute that national land use policy before I step down. And if I just may recall, pumasok po ako sa government service 1998. Katakot-takot na meeting dyan sa national land use na yan. Nasa 2011 na po tayo, pinag-uusapan pa rin. Magre-retire na po ako in 5 years and 2 months yata. No? Dapat naman tapos na by that time. Okay. So, siyempre, kailangan ko aasahan ko kayong lahat, malaking bahagi nyo doon sa pagkukumpone nito National Land Use Policy na susundin ng lahat at hindi nahaharangin sa pag-i-implement. Ano pa ba yung points na ni-raise kanina ni Strike? Okay, siguro, and the last point, no? At gagamitin ko na experiential. I'm no longer a spring chicken. No? I do remember the time that you'd pass Ross Boulevard and people were swimming in Manila Bay. In Malabon, there is a river called Tulyahan. It was not just a source of food, but again, it was a recreational facility. Nowadays, Tulyahan is, I think, most part empty, except when there are massive floods brought about by the lack of forest upstream. Okay. So, simple-simple lang po ito. Lahat ng mga binanggit kanina, magandang pakinggan. Pero mas maganda kung magiging katotohanan. At doon po committed tayo na mangyari po katotohanan to sa loob po natin panunukulan. Problema lang nga ho nito, pare-pare naman tayong politiko po dito, no? Investment. Ano ba yung investment? Kadalasan, mamimili tayo, may short term na, yun nga, pogi points. Pogi ako dito. Yun ang pilitin ko. Pero yung pag-pogi, yung short term, maganda. Kadalasan yung long term, pangit. No? Meron naman ho talaga kailangan mamuhunan para meron pa tayong kinabukasan. Di po ba? So magtanong lang po tayo, ano ba nangyari sa Manila Bay? No? Bigla na lang, hindi na pwede. Ano nangyari doon sa Tulyahan? Hindi na pwede. Tapos mamili na ho tayong lugar. Marami ho siguro lugar na maituturo na meron talagang hindi umintindi nung kanilang sinasakupan, nung kanilang responsibilidad. Kaya yung mga sumunod na salinlahi, nagmana nung napakabigat na problema. Yung dati yung mag-replace tayo na ilang puno, ngayon magre-replace tayo bilyon na puno o bilyon-bilyon na puno. No? Habang nire-replace natin, may na nag-aasam-asam ng putulin to. No? Kaya, alam mo nyo, sorry, hahaba ng konti lang ito, no? Meron tayong tinatawag na convergence plan. So, ang dati, gagawin natin forest ranger. Si forest ranger, maski pa paano, napaka-modicum ng kanyang honoraria. Titignan itong puno, pwede ko ibentang uling to. Pwede naman magbulag-bulagan ako, di ba? So, ano yung convergence plan? Yung convergence plan, gawin nating makatotoo, gawin nating practical, na gusto natin pangalagaan yung kalikasan, gawin natin kapaki-pakinabang doon sa nangangalaga. Ano po ibig sabihin yan? Yung isa po sa schemes, so may tinanim na tayong mga puno. Tatamnan ninyo ng mga halaman ng kakao at saka kape. Meron po isang pagkalaki-laking dabuhalang multinational na gustong bilhin lahat ng maipoproduce. Pero may pagtanim nyo at para mamunga yun, mga 3 taon. Yung 3 taon, ano yung kabubuhay ng mga nagtanim? Isasama natin doon sa conditional cash transfer program. Dulo po doon, may pakinabang sila na bantayan yung puno, alagaan yung halaman na tinulungan sila itinanim. At ang maganda po nito, after 3 years, ang pangako nito mga komunidad nito, yung itinulong sa kanila sa conditional cash transfer program, ibabalik po nila sa national government para naman maitulong sa susunod na grupong imumukahin natin gawin yun. So, hindi po pwedeng pag yung problema nasa lampas ng boundary natin, wala na tayong pakialam. Sa totoo lang po, no? At dito napaka-importante local government units. Doon po sa Benguet, meron pong itinilagay na marker. Nakalagay po doon sa marker, this place, no? Sa ko ano language o several yata, is not safe for human habitation. Dahil mauso lang. Awa ng Diyos, hindi inintindi ng mga tao doon. No? Na-landslide na. Pero tinatayuan pa rin ng mga bahay doon. No? So, ang punto ko lang ho dito, paano nakakapagtayo doon kung hindi papayagan na LGU? No? Pag pinayagan naman ho doon, patong-patong problema natin. Pag umulan na malakas, may threat na landslide, pupuntahan natin. Pagpunta natin doon, sasabihin sa atin, bahala na Diyos sa amin. Pag wala pa sila nakikitang gumuguhong kapraso, di ba? Yung ating nagre-rescue, babalik doon. Take 2, i-rescue yung sarili nila. At kuminsan, papayag na nga. O sige, na kayo, pwede na. Pero paano nangyari yung problema yun? Dahil meron mga may responsibilidad, hindi po inintindi. Lahat tayo may kanya-kanyang responsibilidad po dito. Maganda ho sana, lampasan pa natin yung obligasyon natin. Dahil, sabi nga doon sa isang sine na napanood ako nung bata ko, sabi niya yung dapat kalimutan na natin yung lumipas, no? Pagkukulang ng iba, patawarin pagkukulang natin ngayon, tapos kailangan magsama-sama na tayo para sabay meron tayong kinabukasan. Asahan po nyo, no? Ating national government, dumadami na kakayahan, nababawasan na po natin yung corruption. Yung corruption po, na ibabalik yung pondo sa mga proyektong may katuturan. Asahan nyo, susuportahan namin kayo sa lahat ng aming makakaya para mapalakas ang pare-pareho nating obligasyon ay pagtanggol ng kalikasan at ipamana ang ating bansa na maayos sa susunod na mga sanilay. Maganda nga po. Maraming salamat.